Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
Just to remind everybody that language usage and content that we provide here may be disturbing, disgusting, probably will be and should be. Words like bloody custard and words that rhyme with that may be featured. Actually will be featured. In fact, perhaps will only be featured. Just warning you.
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
Stand-up comedian Tushar Singh joins us from Los Angeles. Yes, we have the influence, we have the pull. He's come all the way here and he's going to chalk out his life's history lesson, which I'm told is very short, so we'll fill it up with music.
Cyrus says we have other shows too. You should check them out.
Lasers, Sowers, Space, SWAT Cats,
More Space,
Daredevil,
Books and Stuff,
Isaac Asimov.
and the Multiverse.
For all things geeky and all things fruity, check out the Geek Fruit Podcast with me, Tejas.
And myself, Jishnu. You can find us at the IVM Podcast Network or geekfruit.in.
You could also subscribe to it on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or any of your favorite podcast apps. May the Force be with you.
Ya nerds.
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
Okay, it's on Cyrus Says, this rant coming to you right now, and that is about nationalism. I've had enough of it, this whole patriotism debate. All this sloganing and jingoism has to end. I mean, you can't prove you're a patriot just by a simple empty slogan. Here's my point. Forget these slogans. All you do is every single Indian male from the age of 18 to 43 should spend some time in the army. Conscription, 6 months minimum, 18 to 43. Why 18 to 43? Because I think 18 is old enough and less than that is ridiculous. 43, well, because I'm 44 and I'm not cut out for the army, frankly. There's no air condition. I've looked at the contract. I mean, there's so many issues. Vegetarian food twice out of 3 meals. I mean, I can't do that kind of thing. It's called Cyrus Says. Jai Hind.
And that's what Cyrus says.
All right, I'm in the studio now and we're about to start the show, Cyrus Says, with a native from Huntsville, Alabama, who's a stand-up comedian who's come to India to make money. But first, let me apologize, Tushar Singh. Apologize not just for the show, which I should apologize for, but because the air conditioning is relatively weak in this room. So you will sweat during the course of this so-called podcast. But hi, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I think, Tushar, don't talk too much because the show is a very short one. So let's try to stick to one-word answers from now till the end. But let me just quickly set you up a little bit for my 9 listeners who don't know who you are. 3 do, 9 don't. Tushar Singh was raised in Huntsville, Alabama. Raise your hand if I'm saying the correct things.
Perfect.
All right. Alabama with a strict Indian upbringing. True?
Yes.
Contradiction that set him up for years of awkwardness. Is this true?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Sorry.
And an arsenal of stand-up comedy material. Is that true?
True.
Can you give us some of that material?
You want me to do my material right now?
Yeah, for like 40 minutes because I've got no more questions. I'm done and this is the research my team has given me. There's one more line which says something about American ideology, but it got wiped out.
You got wiped out by what?
Not American ideology per se, but the line on American ideology. But no, I won't put you on the spot. Don't worry. Well, a little later, if you feel like, please do a little bit of your stand-up. But I want to start with a little empathy here. You were a chubby kid, apparently.
Fat. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's try to understand why and how you'd land up as a stand-up comedian. Of course, America's a different world altogether. So let's go back to Huntsville, Alabama, which I thought was a very dangerous place to be if you're not very white.
No, well, I grew up in Huntsville, so that's a kind of science town. So it's in the middle of a kind of an hour south of us is the birthplace of the KKK.
What are you saying?
But within our confines of the government city of Huntsville, Alabama, we were safe. And a lot of engineers, lots of Indians.
You dare go for an evening walk?
No. It's not like that.
Come
it's
back
safe.
with a leash.
Yeah, it's safe. But if you go 10 miles outside, then you feel...
So this is what, 1990s? When you were like a little boy?
89 through...
All right, so 89, I don't know why he has to argue. 1990s, 89, I'll give you that. So 1989, was it, let me just get to the point. Was it racist? See, this is Indians in India thinking Alabama, racist country. These are all stereotypes, true or not, I don't know. So I'm putting you on the spot.
So this is my 4th grade. My 4th grade classroom.
Which is what, now you're 10? Give us
So 4th grade is 9 years old.
Okay,
I'm 9 years old.
So you failed. I'm kidding. I have no idea.
I'm 9 years old, and the classroom is 30 people. Mm-hmm. I'm one of these students. There's an old white lady as a teacher, and there's about 22 white kids, 8 black kids, and me. So I was not only
One
a
of the black
minority.
kids and one of the white kids' parents hooked up, and that's you.
Yeah, that's what they think.
Yeah.
I'm some mix. And then there's nothing else, no other race. So imagine what that does.
So, but see, again, we can't understand that, although we have our own polarizations and lovely caste system and communal issues and all that. But would you feel out of place? Again, this is a tough question, but you're growing up and you made to feel out of place?
It's a little weird. It's a little weird to be that of a minority within that many people.
So who would accept you more, the black people or the white people? Who would you be easier with? Tough questions. You're going back to America. Be very careful.
I think I always wanted to be white, I think. Deep down, I saw it. It looked really fun.
Yeah.
It's carefree. It seems like a fun life. But and the black people, it's sad. I sit there in the classroom. I'm like, what? How did these guys get here? You know, it's not a fun ride.
So what are you trying to say? You already saw the two worlds and decided that white was better.
No, the white brought the black over, so it became these are ex-slaves. Only one generation away. That's not that much.
Only one generation away?
Yeah, it's one generation.
In 1989?
Well, in the 20s.
How old are these kids? There's an 82-year-old black kid in your class? What are you talking about? No, go on.
Their grandparents used to be slaves. That's crazy.
Okay. And so would they integrate in Alabama? Like, see, people like me only go to places like New York, or rather have only gone to places like New York. I think that's totally not America. So give us a sense of, because then we get into this whole comedy thing, which is almost like something you have to do just to get through your life, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. It was
My God, are you going to cry? Tushar, I'm so sorry. I won't break up these questions ever again. No, I just want to try and place it into perspective, then we'll move on from there. So was it a little difficult, I'm saying, as a child?
Yeah.
Because do you ever feel like, you don't feel like you have a gang or a group that you can sort of relate to?
Well, the group should have been the other Indians, right? I wasn't the only Indian. There's probably another 1,000 families in my city, in Huntsville, growing up. So there was a gang of them. And all those people would get together and, do dances and stuff. There's every year there's holy festivals, Diwali festivals. There's basically pretty large dance competitions, and everyone's dancing for those.
Imagine they go all the way there.
So Bhangra teams in Minnesota are coming to Washington D.C. to go and compete for the championship. And I was fat. What are they going to do with a fat guy on stage? Nothing.
Oh, so you had your own... So first you're the only Indian in the class, then in the neighborhood, you're the only fat Indian.
Yes.
Because as you know, we're a thin race and we are starved normally and our food is terrible. So you go there and then you don't get any... So on both sides, you sort of... Is that true? You're alienated in a sense.
I guess so.
And so you never took part in the cultural... Why are the cultural things always the same? They've gone all the way to America, they're still doing the Bhangra, they're still doing the holy festival, they're still doing the same things.
Well, white people are kind of... the other population is not like... It's not like us. White people are different. They're like a different... they operate on a different level. Indians will operate together. They're all individual. This sounds very racist, anti-white.
I think I understand. It's more social demographic conversation that you're having with me here. Trying to explain to us that they do not have this sort of team thing that the Indians, the Desis have, as you call them.
Yeah.
All right. But you as a fat Desi didn't even get into the Desi camp. You were on your own. So were you a sad kid?
It's not as bad as I thought it was. It's not as bad as I'm making it out.
Did you do drugs? How do you get through your childhood?
I did sugar. I did a lot of sugar through the years.
Isn't sugar sex? Isn't that what they say? I want you sugar and things like that? Is that what you're trying to say? You're a sex maniac?
No.
Oh, so it was drugs. Okay. It's actually brown sugar.
It was food, and then I had my fun with drugs. It's fun.
All right, so let's now move a little bit ahead. Chubby kid, the only Indian in his grade. You stuck out like a big brown thumb, and then what happens? What do you want to do with your life as you grow older?
So I went to Georgia Tech, did electrical engineering.
Right, you're from a science background.
And then right after that,
May I just take an awkward silence here for 2 minutes to just just think about what you've done. You were in Georgia Tech and now you're in Mumbai trying to do stand-up comedy. And just think about what you've done for a minute.
You know what I should have done is what you...
You should have never left!
You should have never left.
Listen to your parents. They actually make sense.
They should have never left India.
What are you saying?
Because I'm back here now.
Where are you from in India? Have you traced your roots?
Lucknow.
Oh my God, no wonder.
When I was in your office the other day, your producer called me, you're a bhaiya. Oh, you're a bhaiya.
Are you kidding me? Who called you a bhaiya?
Don't worry.
You see, you don't need to go there for racism. We have it right here. Plenty of it.
Racism's everywhere.
It's beautiful.
It's the same. It's beautiful.
I'm very fond of it. I'm like, we should just promote it now.
You should embrace it.
Yeah, stop feeling bad. Just go for it. We do it all the time. Once we have friends with 5 people in India, we do it all the time, making fun of their community and background and everything. What's wrong with the Americans? Why are they so touchy? Okay, let's go back to you. So you now, you're in school. You're in Georgia Tech. And obviously you're going to become a scientist of sorts, or an engineer or something like that. What's the plan?
Well, my father, my 3 generations are professors, so I would be some kind of scientist, research person.
You're very into this whole generation conversation. It's like, I better check my background. I have no idea what they've done the generations before. All right, so academic background, 3 generations, lots of pressure. And you?
Yeah, and I can't focus on any one subject like that.
But were you good in studies?
No, I was okay.
So why Georgia Tech? You were forced. It's like arranged marriage.
It was arranged education.
Your parents said, "Come here, boy, beta, Georgia Tech." But Dad, I got 3%. No, we'll manage.
I don't know. I was just kind of. I never really thought about anything when I was that age. So I was just like, okay, I'm doing that now. Great.
What is the demographic in Georgia Tech like? Was it a little more friendly, more people, more different, diversity?
So Georgia Tech is a state school, which means a certain amount of the school has to come from that state, and the rest come from outside. So it was an engineering school. So there was no like liberal. There was no people on campus that were studying Shakespeare or any of that type of stuff. So it was a very technical school.
Did you get a chance to do any comedy as a hobby? Was there any chance?
I tried out for one of the Diwali shows that I mentioned, one of those things. I tried out to be a host because I saw a host do really well, and he did. He was hosting, and he had the crowd, and it looked amazing to see. And I've always watched comedy. And then there was a tryout, and the tryout was in a Georgia Tech's study hall, and they took all the tables out, and the student organization, comprised mainly of Indians from India, were judging talent to see if they can get on the Diwali show. And there were probably 14 teams that day, so I was auditioning to be a host between 2 dancing acts.
Okay.
And I died so bad.
When you say audition, as in they give you what to say, or you have to just...
They were like, just host, show us what you have. I don't know what that means.
You do like a pretend hosting.
Pretend
like, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next.
Coming up next, yeah. Like, you would be amazing at that. I'm not good at stuff.
I'm amazing at the dancing that followed. Unfortunately...
Did you dance? Were you a dancer?
Tushar, I cannot tell you. To pick up the ladies, I just have to start moving those feet.
No, but did you do any...
I am a trained classical dancer. I'm an Odissi specialist. I can dance on one foot with the other foot behind my back. I'm that good. And sometimes just do that, just give the other people a chance. Don't talk to me about dancing. I wrote that book. I am dance. Dance is me. Shamak Davar, I taught him, and then I threw him out of class. I said, no, too tight your pants. So listen, dancing, not a subject. Why are we discussing dancing? This is your show.
No, it's not. It's your show.
I love, honestly.
People don't give a shit about me. They want to hear about you, honestly.
Tushar, this show goes to America. Georgia Tech is listening. Nobody in India knows about this show. It's to do with Fira and Amit not paying his foreign exchange on time. It's a huge story, our producer. But no, coming back to... I love the failure stories better, or rather the bomb stories because people think that it's all fun trying to be a stand-up comic or an actor or whatever. No. But I think the other stories are the ones that really make the person stay in the game or not. So what happens when you do this and they put you on the spot? They don't give you any material. I can understand that. And then suddenly you don't know what to say. What do you think?
So I had really weak material, and I honestly don't remember it. Something about dad and something about...
When in doubt, attack the parents.
Yeah, just attack the homeland. Yeah, and it was about and I just didn't. I was umming and ahhing. I didn't know how to compose. I didn't know how to do that. It was very hard. I mean,
how old were you at this time? About 16.
Probably 20.
20.
Yeah.
And you had your favorite comedians growing up, and there were guys who tried to emulate.
I love this guy named David Cross. I watched him on Mr. Show a lot, and it was an amazing thing to watch, because comedy in the U.S. is developed over 100 years in the terms of it stand-up came out of something else. It didn't just happen.
Didn't it start off as French comedy, and then they had that Civil War, and then it became more English comedy? Oh, no, that's not
it came through a combination of vaudeville, which is just doing things on stage.
Pulling faces, jumping, falling.
Faces. It's more animated. It's a combination of hosting and this and that, and it just kind of emerged out of that, and storytelling. It kind of came together into an art form, and I got to see it for 2 decades locally on screen, and like Johnny Carson. And
so were you thinking?
I never wanted to work. I'm really lazy. I'm from Lucknow, you know.
I can tell from your conversation, man. You're right. I'm as lazy as you are. We could do this conversation.
That's not true. You're so
3 hours.
hardworking.
No, so let
you know what America should have had when you were just doing the intro? You said that you should have a draft, right? Mm-hmm, Every country should have a draft.
Don't you you guys do have a draft?
No, we don't.
I thought when you're 19 you go to serve in the army. Elvis served in the army. They took away Elvis.
No one did that. No, that's only in time of war, which we are, but it's like not real.
So right
war.
now you don't have to serve in the army.
No, I guess drones. Whee!
Oops. All right. Yeah, but I'm a strong supporter of that. I don't like the 3 years and the 4 years. Some countries
you have to do something. Go in for 6 months.
Is not so bad. I mean, they shave your head, so you get used to your old age already, and you just have to stand up straight for 9-10 hours a day, which is something you'll never do again. And you've got to wear these clothes, which with the same clothes, and you're not a waiter. Think about it. It's interesting.
But in the U.S., just the poor people are kind of
army people, is it?
Well, the lower ranks.
So many labels in this country of yours, I say, really. Black, white, poor, rich, this, that. All right, let's get back to you. It's
polarized.
Tushar, let's get back to you. Listen, let's not lose you in this whole thing. I want to understand, when you were a young kid growing up in this strange place, Alabama, strange for us, that is, did you ever perceive that you would be a comedian? Because you seem to be a kid who's got a few issues here, not very popular in class, can't really hang out with the Desi boys back in the neighborhood. So what was in your head? What did you think you were going to do?
I mean, first of all, it wasn't that bad. That made it sound really bad.
Make it sound bad.
It's not that bad.
If you don't dramatize the story,
I got adopted by a group of rednecks at one point.
Really?
They
were adopted. They became your mom and dad?
They were just they're my family.
Tie my shoes!
They're my high school family.
Yeah, what's redneck culture like? Tying the shoes is like half the day then.
Redneck culture. Yeah. Redneck culture is great.
We use this term very loosely, and for us it just sounds like some really dumb, white trash is what we're told it is. But is that really it?
No, redneck is kind of
Could you be
culture.
proud to be a redneck? Could anyone say, I'm redneck?
It's part of the prerequisites. You have to be proud.
Oh, you have to be proud.
It's kind of, you have to be, we're better than everyone. Mm-hmm. But then also it's very loving, and they like to do things together. They're family.
Right. Including the stereotype of sometimes marrying within.
Marrying within, yeah. That happens.
Tell us about so they adopt you, what happens then?
Nothing. They were just a wonderful group of people from like 15, probably like 10 white guys. I would just hang out with them a lot in high school, and
but they would go.
They would do stuff like they would go mudding. Mm-hmm. You know what mudding is?
No, but I will now.
So you wait for heavy rain, and then once the rain's over or during the rain, you take your pickup truck and you go ride in muddy trenches.
The point being?
No point, my friend.
There's no end.
There's no point.
There's no middle, nothing. It's just ride.
The destination is the journey, I guess, in that sense.
Why did you turn to comedy you in the middle of it? There's no need to turn anywhere. And so this is like a big sport, is it?
Yeah.
All right. And
so
you were accepted. You were like a normal one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I would be the fat Indian kid. They would make fat Indian jokes. That was fun.
Like what? What would they say?
Well, they would. I would be called. My name's Tushar,
right?
Or to white people, Tushar,
right.
Or to these guys, Dushar,
as in douche,
as in douche. And I didn't know what that meant when it first came to me,
right?
Which I still don't really know what it means. So
nobody cares.
We're not going to talk about that. But
so that was the extent of the pain. It hardly sounds like
pain. It was fine.
Douchard, that's it. I thought they'd hold you over a lake and put your head in for half an hour or something like that, or pour beer inside your pants, or or make you pick up after them. Or
there's no physical abuse.
Oh damn! It's just a pathetic story. I want to cancel the story from your file and move on to Georgia Tech. That sounded better. Failing at the Diwali audition, that sounded nice.
All right, so I was failing there. Should I take you through my failures?
Yes.
I'll take you through I think
this
you'll like that.
show is about celebrating failure.
Okay, sorry.
Tushar.
Sorry.
Tushar.
You should have just told me to bring a list of failure stories. I could have done that.
I was hoping you'd have at least 5. All artists do. They're very keen to share. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, so that was a failure. My second show was in Alabama for a talent show.
Right.
It was the three people before me. It was an auditorium, student auditorium.
What do you mean by talent show? It's like a variety show. You can do anything?
You can just go up and show your talent, and there's some prize at the end. So I said, I'll do that. I'm at home, and before me were three people who were singing about Jesus with a guitar. Solo acts. So then they have that mood. And then I go up and I started doing the same dad bullshit that I was doing before, but a worse version of it. And I lose them. And then
and they start shouting, "Oh, Jesus, shut up!"
No. These four black ladies, because it's freshmen, so they're rushing. Do you know what rushing is?
No, but the way you say it, like I'm really stupid. I really don't know. I haven't been to Alabama. Tell me.
So, in all colleges, there's rushing. So there's fraternities and sororities that you try out for to live in and with during your college.
Right.
It's like a small group. It has its own. We don't.
One sec. So rushing is the audition to be part of the fraternity.
So you have to do things.
And so they basically it's like teasing. What's the word?
Hazing.
Hazing.
It's hazing. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's hazing.
So go on.
And so when I was in like a 30 seconds into a 4-minute show that I had for this talent thing, these three ladies, these black ladies, go whoop 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 whoop. Whoop, whoop, all of them separately.
Okay.
And everyone turns around and just starts looking at them. And then they all start laughing because they're doing that. And I'm on stage just like, holy shit. And then it was bad.
So they were hazing you, or this was part of their hazing?
Well, they were doing their thing, but it was...
It screwed up your performance.
Yeah. But it was funny in retrospect.
So every time you're alone in bed with a woman, somebody shouts whoop whoop, and you just can't do anything after that. Man, this is terrible. Tale of woe. All right, we have to take a break. When we come back, we get a very animated and excited young man to tell us more about his life. I'm going to pump him with coffee. I'm going to give him some medication. I'm going to pull him out of Alabama and put him in terrible Mumbai. Hot, dusty, sweaty. No time for comedy. We'll come back in a second. Tushar.
Cyrus says, stop picking your nose. Listen to this ad.
Hi, I'm Amit Gulbaksani.
I'm Purva Mehra.
And I'm Pranuti Datta. And we're from a city website called The Daily Pow. And we have a new podcast called The Powcast. So you can listen to us on the Indus Rock SoundCloud page, as well as iTunes, Stitcher, and TuneIn.
Yes, back here with Tushar Singh, whose story is very tragic up to this point. Of course, it ends very happily. But show number 1, they didn't let him complete. Show number 2, they didn't let him complete. Now, what happens to your career?
They didn't let me complete.
Well, I just wasn't. Four ladies were good.
It was not. Once again, it was not the proper setting in some ways.
Okay, but so your confidence is dented.
So
but
the third time
you're not destroyed yet. You still want to do this.
It's kind of fun. Even bombing is fun.
Right.
Have you bombed ever?
Right now? It's great fun. No worries. So, but in the beginning, if you don't get a good run, most people I know a pal of mine who stopped dating girls. These things happen. So I'm just thinking, you have one show which didn't work out, second show which didn't work out, and then you need something to work out, otherwise, why are you here?
And then during the 2004 presidential election,
right,
George Bush versus John Kerry, I did a fundraiser, and they were like, you can do whatever you want. And then I was like, let me do stand-up. And then I just made fun of George Bush for 4 minutes, and it went really, really well. So that was the first confidence booster.
Your own material?
Yeah, it was my own material. But it was stupid. It was so stupid. It was not good stuff.
But it was
like I remember one of the jokes, George Bush, I was like, why would you want a president who you can beat in tic-tac-toe? Such a bad joke.
It's a nice joke.
It was a fine joke, but it's just so
ripped
stupid.
It off after that. Be very careful. Don't share your jokes. Yeah, don't share George Bush for that matter. Yeah. So that was the first one that worked. And in the meantime, you're still at Georgia Tech.
No, I went to, so I got my MBA right afterwards, because that's what you need. That's what you need to be a comedian.
Yeah, you're a real desi kid, aren't you?
Yeah.
So you got your MBA, so this comedy is just a hobby. Your parents are very clear that you're going to, get a job in one of these big multinationals and go up the corporate ladder.
Yeah, something like that.
So
or something.
So what happens after the MBA?
I moved to New York. I get a job as a salesperson.
In McDonald's.
For consulting sales. So I would try to get more job for our consultants to work. And then I started doing open mics there, which was in some open mics you have to pay to be on. So you have to go, you have to pay $5.
I love the American dream. So now you have to pay.
No. You have to not only pay.
Never mentioned this in India.
You have to pay and buy a drink.
You have to pay and buy a drink, and then you can go and make
then
jokes.
you can go up and do comedy in front of 10 other comedians at 5 o'clock in the afternoon at a club.
Wow. But instead of that, why can't I just hang around the bar and just talk in a loud voice and not pay anything?
I mean, that's ultimately what happens, but
I
guess you need a space. You need a meeting
the Desi guy would have done that. He would have figured it out. You're not a real Desi guy. You're more
you
American.
mean just start a bar?
Yeah, you just
I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle between Desi and American. So you put whatever the hell that means.
One leg on stage, no buying drinks against my religion, and you moved on. Yeah. So how did those open mics go? Like you said, in front of like 2 men and a dog sometimes.
It was fine.
Competitors who don't want to laugh.
It was ups and downs. It was... there's so many formats within
But there's no pressure on you because you've got your MBA, you've got your little job going.
That's my biggest problem in life. Lack of pressure.
Really? You got too much money, is it?
Not money, but I did those things, so I have the fallback.
Your life sounds like the Congress party. too much money, don't need to work, let it be. They're just not fighting hard enough. All right. So let's get back to you in open mic territory.
I feel like I should be insulted. You call me the Congress Party.
But you're saying there's no pressure because, you've got this great job, you're in New York, and the open mic at 5 and 6 in the evening post-work, it's like playing squash.
Yeah. I got fired. You'd like that. I got fired from my first job.
Because
I got... well, you have to make this sales job. You have to call 50
targets.
You have to call 50 people a day.
We have the same targets on the podcast. If we don't get 50 people we're all in
a
trouble.
day.
Yeah.
And I just stopped caring. At some point, I stopped caring. I just didn't.
Did you ever get
Congress Party?
Sorry, Tushar, but do you ever get a sense of, because of comedian in you, like when you're calling people on a serious job, do you ever feel like, let me do a voice now? Hello. I'm just thinking. Hello. Would you like to buy a doll? What were you trying to sell anyway? Or trying to get people to work?
I was trying to sell business consulting services. I would call hospitals.
Wow.
And I would call hospital doctors and directors.
You could do the worst pranks. You could be like, ICU, please, ICU. give me a patient who's got like 5 minutes left, please.
I mean, I can just be like, hey man, can you give me some some pointers here and there? Like,
is that your southern accent?
That's my southern accent.
Is that your genuine? That's your real Alabama accent, isn't it?
Yeah, when I talk like a redneck,
you sound like Forrest Gump.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah?
Something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can we do the whole interview again? But can you talk like that?
Okay, let's start right over.
Just do numbers.
Hey, Cyrus, this is all about you. Let's do this.
All right. Hi, I'm Indian. I don't know what Alabama's like.
Hey, Alabama is so great. Yeah. It is one of the most fabulous places to live, especially if you have the birthright there. There's lots of churches. There's football. There's beer.
Wow.
There's women.
Okay, stop. I've got my 4 things. I can't take more than that. 4's enough. Yeah.
Hey, what happened to the Indian dude? Let me hear your Indian dude. Let's hear your Indian dude.
I talk like this normally. I'm not Indian. I'm Bangladesh.
Y'all talk real funny. I'll tell you what. Y'all talk real funny.
You want me to say American poem like Hayabata? Huh? I'll say a whole poem for you. And he will come alive again in front of you when I narrate the story of Hayabata. The prince of the brown. Red, whatever the color is. Okay, can we get back to normalcy? So what is your real accent, Tushar? You suck, bro. I can't find the real you. Who are you?
I don't know, man. I don't
you're born
know.
Brown.
I don't know
You speak
who I
Hindi
am.
at home in some form.
It's shitty Hindi.
You go to
It's
Alabama,
shindy.
you got a southern accent. You have to fit in with the white boys there. Then you go to Georgia Tech. From there, you got to go to New York and open mic with these liberal comics. Another world altogether. And then back in Mumbai.
No. I went from there back to here. Then I went from New York back to Huntsville for 3 years.
Wait, we interrupted the progress. Wait, don't. Let's get back to the job. So you lost the job because you didn't make the target number of 50.
Yeah, I got fired.
And you didn't make fun of anyone on the way?
I did not. Well, I didn't want to do the thing that got me fired. I wouldn't call enough, and it just one of the leads I just kind of messed up, and it was not really my fault, but they were like it was a Jewish firm from Tel Aviv.
Okay, now enough. You pointed fingers at all our colors and communities. Stop it. Just leave people alone now.
Hey man, we're just one laugh, okay?
Yeah, and I need sponsors. Now, coming back to your life. No, leave it there. Don't go there. Don't go there. Let's move on. So you're at open mic. You're doing these shows, but now you've lost your job. So what does Tushar want to do? You're in your 20s and New York is an expensive city.
So this is what happens. This is so I'm living with my friend, and it's a railroad apartment. So it's me. Railroad apartment is where there's 2 bedrooms, but the first bedroom's the living room.
I like how sweetly you decide to tell me after half an hour that this is what it really is. Because I've stopped making faces. I've just given up. Yeah, it's like, okay, he doesn't understand American. Railroad apartment is, okay, go ahead. Railroad apartment is?
I guess a railroad apartment would be just something different here. I don't know. But anyways.
Here, the railroad is your apartment. In Mumbai, you can't afford place. You just go lie there. Lots of people have. Many struggling actors started at the railroad. Many of them are still there, but those stories we won't tell. So, railroad apartment.
I lost the job, and I decided to move into one of my friend had a couch in his room. So for a little bit, I subletted my room and slept on the couch. And then luckily, my dad died. And so
Okay, now stop.
What?
Okay, no.
Hey, if you're gonna hit the chronology, if you're gonna start from the beginning and you're gonna do chronology,
you've insulted every race and community and nationality, and now the holy cow itself. You've in a very facetious and incomprehensible manner, just in tragic comic circumstances, mentioned the death of a parent. Go on, I won't stop.
Well, it was. I mean, it was. If it was going to happen, it was a good time to happen.
See, lucky for me, my dad died is what Hitler's son should have said. You know, you've got to understand what you're trying to do here. Put it in context. Okay, so what, you inherited money, is it?
No. I moved back home. That was a joke. That was a shitty joke.
Oh, right.
I moved back home, and then I lived in Huntsville for 3 years. And then I started doing Indian shows.
But what will you do? You're an adult now. What do you do in Huntsville?
I just got some engineering job. Whatever. It's not that hard to get a job.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Okay.
But I just got some application engineering job. Lived there for 3 years. Helped my sister and mom. My sister got married to a guy from Delhi, oddly enough. And
like an Indian guy from Delhi, or
yeah.
a guy whose antecedents is in Delhi?
Indian guy from Delhi.
So,
in
wow.
Lucknow.
You go all the way to America, all those men, and then you come back and choose a guy from Delhi.
Yeah.
Wise choice. Sure, wise choice. Yeah.
Yeah. So that. Then I moved to Atlanta, and I lived above a comedy club. Okay. And above this comedy club, it was this place called the Laughing Skull Lounge, and it was amazing. It was an 80-seat theater, and the lead-in was a burger restaurant. So it was at the back of a burger restaurant, past the bathrooms.
Yummy.
This wonderful. It used to be a burlesque theater, and they converted it to a comedy club. So I lived above that for 3 years, and it was.
And you worked there?
I worked for them, yeah, and I helped them.
So you performed at the comedy club?
I performed all the time.
And
it was amazing because they, in comedy, a lot of people have to bail last second, or someone you need a spot.
Right.
They would call me automatically.
So you were Mr. Substitute in the beginning?
I was a sub, yeah. And then my living room became like a green room, basically.
So is that where you sort of, your craft and your art was fomented and cemented?
Yeah, Atlanta.
3
years. Then I moved to L.A.
So, but just tell us about your routines for a second. So what were you doing by then?
My routines, I don't know, it changed.
I hope you moved away from dad now. There's more stuff happening.
I bring that up sometimes. It's fun.
So you got the family stuff.
That's why comedy is so good, because you can talk about that, make it awkward for a little bit, and then it's like, okay, it's fine. But
Were you doing politics more by then? Were you doing racism? But what was your thing?
So I would mess with for example, when there were white, let's say the comedy club was the patrons were all like old mid-40s white people, just all white people, right? And none of them, not one Indian. So I would go and I would do the first 30 to 40 seconds of my stage act in Hindi. Pretty consistently.
Wow.
So I would just go up there and be like, and it'd be like a crowd, like, please welcome to the stage.
Tushar, sing!
And then it'd be like, हाँ भैया, आप कैसे हैं? सब लोग ठीक हैं? मजा आ रहा है? Like in my real shit.
Southern Hindi accent. I would pay for that. Just say that again, please. That's good enough for me. Yeah.
So I would just do my jokes in Hindi. And try to
make them feel awkward.
Make them feel awkward, and it was really fun because they would get really scared and then confused, and I would just be trying to joke. I would just.
Then what would you say? No, don't worry, no terrorists, no guns. See,
I had for a long time. I had this joke, so I would say, "Ha, look, sab theek hai, maza aa raha hai," and I look at one guy in the eye, and be like, "Ha, bhaiya, aap maza aa raha hai." And then they just kind of look at me kind of scared and nervous. And then I would just do some joke. And for the long time, the joke was, हाँ बहुत लोग कहते हैं कि 9/11 फिर से होगा, हाँ फिर से होगा, मगर हम नहीं कहते, हम कहते हैं वो लोग दूसरा दिन चूज करेंगे.
That's not funny. That's terrible.
But it's just so they would not.
Yeah,
obviously,
it's a
terrible joke.
Yeah.
It's terrible. But they would pick up 9/11, and that would be kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then I would close in with. I would talk to some guy. I'd look to some guy, and I'd be like, "Bhaiya, आपका नाम क्या है? आपका नाम?"
I don't know.
And आपका नाम क्या है? And you make it really tense because
he wouldn't respond,
because people would, at that point, some people would yell out stuff
like, "We don't understand."
Yeah, he don't understand you.
Forrest,
he don't understand you, Forrest. He don't understand your Hindi. You talking up all Hindi over there like an idiot. He don't understand you. And then sometimes there'd be other Indian people in the audience, so they'd be like, "He's asking you for your name," and then I'd turn to them like, "Chup, and then I'd keep on asking, and I'd make it so good, and then I'd be like, "Naam kya hai? Naam, aapka naam," and they keep on like, "No, I don't know." And they do, and I said, "What's your name, dude?" And it was the first English that anyone had heard. So, and it was kind of a cheat. It was a cheat.
I like
comedy.
it. That's a nice segment. Can I borrow it? Can I use it?
You can borrow it.
When I perform in Georgia,
free. Come, you gotta go.
Georgia close to Russia.
Hey, I produce a lot of shows, so whenever you're in India or US, come and do them.
Did you say US come?
Come US.
What the hell are you saying?
Come in the US.
Chup! Can you do that maja aa raha hai again?
Bahut maja aa raha hai. I sound like such an idiot.
No, it's fantastic.
It's so hard here.
You guys should write a book, because I think it's like a caught between sort of community.
Yeah.
Raised there.
We're not.
Heart sort of here. It's all over the place, isn't it?
And then I come here and I'm not Indian.
Your Hindi is a little awkward here. But
हमारे हिंदी बहुत awkward है. बहुत ही.
See, if you're from the north, you have to say awkward, not awkward. Awkward.
Mera, awkward.
On the other hand, look at the accents you can do. You can do like 20 different type of American accents from south to east. So I'm sure that comes in handy. And now you've got all the Indian accents that you picked up.
Indian accents are fun to do.
So let's now move. So you're doing that. You started doing all that stuff. You're making a name for yourself in comedy. And then what happens with Tushar Singh? And how does he land here in Mumbai?
I was in LA. Then I moved to LA.
Is that the home of comedy? Is that where you have to go?
It is.
Donald Trump says Mexico.
It is one of all the money's there in the terms of production. So if you want to do movies, you want to write, you want to produce, you want to act, you need to.
So you grew too big for your little comedy club where you stayed at the bottom and substituted. Suddenly you said, "I've done this."
Those things run its course, and you're kind of done with them. So I kind of was finished with that, and then decided to go to LA, and I started a weekly show there, and it's still running now.
A weekly show on telly?
Weekly live comedy show.
Oh wow!
At a theater.
How is it still running live if you're here?
I started with the co-producer, so I'm still running it or helping.
I thought you were performing, so I thought either you're God or just ridiculous conversation. All right, so you produce a show which is still running. There are other people performing in it.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Understood.
It's a showcase show, so every week there's 8 comics come do 10 minutes apiece.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's
and you get paid.
Yeah, we have a door deal.
Excellent.
And it's fun.
So Desi news coming through slowly.
Yeah.
Fool those silly Americans. Make them sign.
So then I was in LA and I was like, okay, one of my best friends, his girlfriend is a documentary filmmaker. Mm-hmm. And so I was talking to her and I was like, I want to do comedy in India. I've been doing comedy for so long. I do Indian gigs in America. It'd be so interesting because I know there has to be a scene of some sort.
Right.
And then she said, if you ever do that, I'll come film it as a documentary.
Oh.
And so she decided to come, and we did a crowdfunding campaign, and we raised some money, and I took last year, this time, I brought a film crew, and we did a multi-city tour across India. So we did Mumbai, Pune, Goa, Delhi, Bangalore, and so those are the main ones, I guess. And did 25 shows in 30 days. So you were searching
for Indian comics and talking to them?
I was performing on shows, like jumping on shows. So I was not the headliner for any show. So
so you would just jump in and then...
I would jump in, do a set. I would do 5 to 10 minutes.
And they would shoot that?
15 to 20. They would shoot that, and then got to interview all the Indian comics in the scene. Mm-hmm. And there's literally under 100 right now which is insane. In California, in LA, probably there's conservatively 8,000 comics easily.
We're only 100 comics in India.
100 comics,
including
100 stand-up comedians,
including politicians and people at gyms.
If you
I mean, you aren't counting everyone. You're looking at people who think they're comics.
I go to the gym.
Yeah.
People in the gym who think they're...
Yeah. It's true. Haven't you seen our gyms?
I've been to... I go to I Think Fitness. Yeah. And that is a hilarious gym. Yeah. Because it's like everyone is just... Yeah. Making love to themselves and that
I love that. I love that about gyms, the narcissism, when the guy passes a mirror and then checks himself out head to toe, especially when he's 66 years old with a big stomach and, with 3 chins. And it's just lovely.
You go to speaking of gyms, you go a lot.
I have to go.
What happened?
My parents say you don't have a job, so you leave in the morning and come back in the evening. Go search for a job. So I had to kill time because there's no work in India. Yeah. So I go and sit in the gym for some time. Then,
were you ever a trainer? Dude, you would be the best
bastard.
The best trainer.
My comedy that bad?
No. It's a compliment. It's a compliment. That's a very hard thing to do.
Give me a contact in the gym you're in. Let me see what I can do. Damn,
train me, man.
First, we have less than 100 comics, and that's really sad. I thought it's a huge scene now. Whenever I travel and do events and all, there's always some 3-4 comics in Cal, in Bangalore, in Chennai.
Yeah, there's local scenes, and they're all within... So, Delhi, this is from what I know, and I could be wrong, according to a lot of people. But before 2009, before the Comedy Store came here, right around then, 2009, there's a crop of comics that came up.
Right.
So and in Delhi, there was so that started there in Delhi, and then places like Calcutta.
Yeah. Take your time.
Places in Calcutta, they have, it's under 2 years old.
You think?
No, I know. I've talked to people there.
So, but all said and done, you're saying less than 100 performing professional comics?
Less than that, probably. Yeah. 50.
And out of the 100, only 5...
And that doesn't include Rajiv Srivastava and...
Raju. Sorry. Rajiv's his elder brother. He's an accountant. He's funny, but he doesn't perform. But, the Hindi comics.
It doesn't include the Hindi comics.
There are many of those.
Those are many.
They work on a different perimeter.
Yeah.
They don't do the clubs because they can't drink. And if you speak Hindi, you don't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be...
And they're less accessible. They're bigger. They're bigger.
They basically wear waistcoats, so you can tell they're different from the English comics.
Do you have a favorite comic? Like Indian comic?
I'm racist. I hate Indian comics. I can't bear them. And
do you have a favorite black comic?
Also, I find Indian comics very ugly. So visually, on a podcast maybe, but not visually too much. To go to a club, look at them. I mean, how long?
Well, I mean, most people, if they're not.
But I used to like a guy called Jaspal Bhatti, but he's no longer there. One of those fathers of Indian comedy.
Yeah.
He's really funny, but he's passed now.
My dad used to play a video or audio cassette of comedy. Yeah. And I don't remember the guy, you probably know him, but he did the Aur Ye Char Laino Mein.
Huh.
Who is that guy?
Ye Char?
Aur In Char Laino Mein. He did the Char Laino bit. Does anyone know that?
Oh, I'm looking around in the studio. People are...
I'll look it up.
Do they speak Hindi in Alabama? Or is that my Cockney coming? I'm so sorry. Been away too long. Yeah. So 100 comics, I'm very depressed. What happened to this industry?
It's exciting. Maybe think about that.
Comics need to interbreed.
Look, comedy...
We have to make love more and then produce more comics. Maybe that's one way to...
No, you don't want to make more comics.
There are only 3 female comics.
Comics just happen. You don't want to make a comic. You don't want...
too much work for them. Then they won't have time to do the comedy.
Yeah. Would you want...
Although they have lots of material. Having slept with 97 Indian men. I've got to tell you, that's going to be funny.
and out of out of 50, the top 50 comics, how many do you think are female?
I would say less than 10%. Yeah. Am I right?
Yeah, right around there.
So sexism in Indian comedy.
It's not sexism.
And these liberal comedians that go around sprouting about a better society and they're keeping the women down. I hate Indian comics. Repeat after me, Tushar. I hate Indian. Why wouldn't you say it?
हमें English नहीं आता है.
नहीं आता है. मजा. What is the thing you said? मजा आ रहा है. That was fun, man. I like that routine.
I also do the South Indian. It is little more difficult, but I can do.
You can do quite well. I am quite happy with your South Indian. I'm also happy with your North Indian, but we have to finish here.
We have to finish?
As we finish.
No, let's keep on going.
No, Baba, come on. You sound like all those girls who I never met. Yeah, Tushar Singh, been with us on the podcast, but we've run out of time. But all the best to you in your career, and I'm sure one day Tushar's name will be up in lights heading the Indian comedy revival scene. Because there are 100 now, but after the revolution there'll be 3.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Cyrus.
Cyrus says, ask me anything. If you want Cyrus to answer your questions on air, send an email to whatcyrussays@gmail.com. If you send us a link to a sound file on SoundCloud, we'll even play you asking the question in your own voice. And that's what Cyrus says.
Okay, we're laughing here because Amit has entered and he wants to do AMAs here with Tushar Singh.
Yes.
Who I call
What's an AMA?
Maza Aa Raha Hai.com, which is your website here in India. Yeah. Amit, what's up?
Okay.
Hey.
So the first question we have is from is via email, and it's that it's Tushar. I heard on the episode with the Geek Fruit guys that you're a big Flash fan. What do you think of the Earth 2 episodes on Flash?
I don't have a television at the moment because 2 children, so I only get to watch the cricket in limited doses. So I've missed that. So I've recorded to see the whole lot now in one go.
Okay, all right. So I guess that's
But
going to
if
have
you've
to
seen
wait.
it, but without telling me the story.
Well, I can't really do that, right? I mean, like
The
if
good
I
thing
tell
about
you
Tata Sky, I shouldn't give them a plug here, but the good thing is that we can at least take a whole series, keep it aside, and then wait for the right time to see
watch
everything.
it. Exactly. Yeah. Have you seen? Are you a Flash person? Do you watch the Flash?
But if you're going to discuss it, then I can't see it.
Yeah, no. So we can't discuss
So
it.
Earth
All
two
No, I
right.
haven't
episode-
seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
All right. So I guess we move on. There's no.
That's a
But before
great
we-
question. Pass.
But Tushar, do you like the superheroes? Because Batman vs Superman released or is releasing right now as we speak.
I
So-
loved. I want to watch that. I like all the X-Men and Marvel and Wolverine. And,
So you're a proper
Spider-Man,
There you go.
Superman.
What about India's Shaktiman? Are you familiar?
What is that?
What is that?
That is Shaktiman, the strong man.
The famous Indian superhero.
Does he have a
He's
beard?
stronger than Superman. Much
I
stronger.
like Mr. India. He was kind of a.
He's just a hairy guy. That's different. Totally different. Yeah.
All right. The second question. This is from Tapanj92 on Twitter. Cyrus says, when you make the week that wasn't, which is awesome, do you ever face legal issues as you guys are always mocking politicians?
Well, it's all Tushar's fault. I gotta be honest.
Okay.
He's the man responsible for all this. No, we put a disclaimer, hopefully, and we try not to get personal.
Yeah.
What can we do other than that? I say sorry throughout the show. The show is 50% of it is just sorry.
Just apologizing.
Yeah, just sorry, because, we're just trying to spin the news, nothing more. And hopefully people just take in the right spirit. What else can we do? Because this country is not very clear, Tushar.
Yeah.
I don't know about the states.
But have you ever hit issues?
We have on a couple of occasions. We had to apologize to a couple of people on the phone. These things happen.
Yeah.
People are very influential. It's a country run by influential people. I believe it's run by a mafia of 1,000 people. This is my theory. And a couple of journalists have agreed with me.
Are the 100 stand-up
politicians-
comics part of that?
No, the 100 stand-up comedians
just
aren't
1,000?
in the 1,000. They're in the third 1,000.
The Indian Illuminati.
Yeah, it's something like that. So and they run the whole place. So they're influential people. So you be a little careful, or they make your life miserable.
Yeah.
Or your family's life.
You can't.
miserable,
Yeah,
which
you
is not
can't
good.
poke the dragon too much.
You can poke the dragon, but
You can
must
tickle the dragon.
Yes, but you
poke the
must apply
dragon
a
and the
balm
dragon's gonna-
immediately. And you must not touch the lower parts of the dragon.
Yeah.
Because that's
Don't molest the dragon.
Yeah, and if the dragon likes you, then that's even worse than if he hates you. So be very careful. Yeah. Now that we've finished with the analogies, and we've lost interest in the
I think
question.
we're dragging out here. Cool.
Let's move on. Yeah.
All right, no, that's all we got. We got 2
That's all we
questions.
got?
Yeah.
All right, Tushar.
Can we extend questions?
Yeah,
Yes,
you
you
got a
can.
question,
You have a question,
please,
go
yeah.
ahead.
I have. Can I ask it for you?
Please.
Okay.
Can you put on an accent so it acts like somebody else is done it?
Which one would you like?
I'd like your South Indian meets Alabama accent. If you can do a mix of the two.
South Indian.
So I'm a South Indian guy, but with a southern twinge.
I am. I can't do that. It's impossible. You just asked the impossible.
Okay, Eric, just be an Alabama boy. Come on, what's the question?
I just want to the first time about your career. Like, when did you the first time you did it? First time
I'm
you were
already
in front
depressed.
of a live.
You said the word "your" in career. That's just a paradox.
The first time you did it, were in front of live people. You do live events, right?
My parents had a dinner party, and I came into the room naked. I was 7. And I got applause. All the aunties were like, "Oh, Concha, how sweet, show, come here." And I don't remember clearly, but they may have touched me. Some of them. And I'd be very confident. In fact,
They
overconfident.
touch you emotionally, right?
No, that's my act. You start with Hindi to foreigners.
Yeah.
I just take my clothes off. And huge applause. They're like, look, he's both sexes. Look. He's everything. She's everything. Something like that, yeah. No, I don't remember, man. Tushar, this is not... You know your own podcast and ask provocative questions. Don't poke the friggin' dragon, man. Do not tickle or poke. Put your hands up. The dragon's close by.
Tell me, where on the dragon did he touch you?
I'll show you the dragon's tail if you want it. It's in front now.
Okay.
Here it ended the lesson from Alabama State University. On behalf of John Hopkins and myself, it's good
And
day.
the University of Alabama in Huntsville and all its patrons respects you and your listeners.
And Forrest Gump.
And Forrest Gump.
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
All views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily the views and opinions of the IndusVox Media Network or any of our show advertisers or sponsors. No animals were harmed in the making of this podcast, obviously.
All right, if you've listened to the show called Cyrus Says and you want your money back, let me tell you, that can't be done right now. But we can make you feel better if you listen to Made in India. That's M-A-E-D, Made in India, with May. There's no D in May. Although, maybe one day. Check it out on ivmpodcast.com.